Joining us, White House attorney in the first Donald Trump administration, Ty Cobb. He's also a former federal prosecutor. What's your expectation regarding Blanche?
I expect that he'll be confirmed. I don't think we've seen sufficient character from the Republican senators during the confirmation process for anybody on the Hill that would give us any cause for optimism that they'll stand up and do the right thing for America at this point.
We are headed toward the midterms. It's midsummer. We have a few months left. We just reported a moment ago that Kash Patel is headed to Russia. Donald Trump, as you know well, had that election speech the other day where he claimed that our elections are vulnerable, highlighted China, and did not highlight Russia in the way that they interfered. And we just reported right before this on election deniers on the ballot in Arizona. When you take all of those things together, what are you concerned about come November? Are you concerned come November?
Well, I'm very concerned. I think I've been saying since, January a year ago that we should all be very worried about the elections and the likelihood that Trump and Blanche will see to it that ICE and the National Guard are mobilized for the purpose of trying to interfere with the vote on the day it occurs and the days before and after, but also to seize the voting machines and ballots. Keep in mind that in 2020, Trump wanted to seize voting machines and ballots, and Bill Barr explained to him that there was just no basis to do so, that there was no evidence of fraud, but that did not necessarily appease the president, although he did go along with it. Also, Blanche and Steve Bannon have made public statements making plain that they expect ICE to be on the streets at or about the time of the election. Blanche said, "Who shouldn't be happy to see ICE?" Policing the polls and making things safe. Well, they're not there to make things safe. And it's also a violation of federal law for federal law enforcement people, including ICE, to be at the polls. So the fact that he doesn't understand that and has argued that perhaps they should be there is a cause for great concern.
So if you think Todd Blanche will try to enable the president further, and that's what I'm hearing you say, what can he authorize? You mentioned Bill Barr saying that there wasn't precedent to seize the voting machines. Will Blanche try to make some precedent?
Well, I think people need to understand that, that what Blanche can authorize is limited only by, Trump's greed and oppressive desires and Blanche's character. And so far, Blanche has not shown any character. He has authorized search warrants in Fulton County, supported the president's efforts to try to get voter rolls that he's not entitled to. 16 states have now issued opinions through the federal courts saying that the government's not entitled to the voter rolls that they're trying to seek, that the federal government has no role in our elections, which is the way the framers set it up. We got to keep in mind that Blanche was the central actor in a $2 billion scam on the American public in connection with the alleged slush fund. That was a scheme that, where there was no case or controversy in the underlying case, and they used the existence of Trump's complaints against the IRS just to try to siphon off $2 billion or $1.8 billion from the American taxpayers for the president's use to satisfy his desire to pay back or enrich the January 6th protesters who attacked the Capitol and assaulted Capitol police officers.
You've worked with the president. When he tries to push the boundaries, how far does he try to push those boundaries?
Well, he has to push them aggressively when there is, opposition. In the first administration, fortunately, there were people there, General Kelly foremost among them, who tried to keep the president between the navigational beacons of normalcy and propriety. But there's nobody there now. I mean, there's nobody in the White House and certainly nobody in the administration at this stage of the game. You know, when they go up on the Hill and they can't even acknowledge that Joe Biden won the 2020 election, I think that tells you a lot about the character and courage that is lacking among the administration officials currently currently relied upon to try to keep the president on the straight and narrow. Nobody's doing it, and it's impossible to keep him there without such restraint.
Democrats and election advocacy groups say they're preparing for whatever the president might do. Come November, they're preparing lawsuits and hoping to get immediate relief. If this heads to the Supreme Court, and it could head quickly if something happens, do you have a sense of where you think this court will fall?
So I think the Supreme Court, actually, in constitutional matters of this type, has been better than the mainstream media, I think, would suggest. Keep in mind that they demanded that he bring back Mr. Abrego Garcia. They ruled against him on tariffs. They ruled against him on birthright citizenship. They ruled against him in several of the more serious constitutional matters. And I think they will do what they can with regard to elections, but it'll take time to get to the Supreme Court. And I think that what you'll see is the president do some very serious and wrong things in connection with the elections, and it'll take a while to sort it out. I'm glad that Democrats are preparing. I'm glad that states and municipalities are preparing. But the president has great resources. He's got the National Guard. He's got ICE. There will be illegal orders issued, and perhaps people will refuse to follow them. But I do think that we're in for a very serious time come November and in the aftermath.
Ty Cobb, good to have you.
Good to be with you,
Don't love that
Katie.
prediction, but it's really good to have you.